Oh, ready, ready. Oh, we gotta confirm, and the hype is dead.
And the hype is dead. At some
Oh,
point we should turn that off, but like
at some point, what?
it's useful. At some point I feel like we should turn it off, but at the same time it's safe.
Is there an option to actually turn it off? Okay, because I just do it.
I straight up turned that option on. It's like, yeah, I want to confirm to go live.
Oh, okay, okay, I got it.
um
Well, here we
what's up,
are.
nerds?
What up, nerds? You fucking nerds with your nerd hair. Oh man, it is a day late because this dumbass here
Got sick.
guess he got a little tummy ache. But we're here.
It's terrible.
We're here to do episode 6 of the show. Oh my god, it's already episode 6.
Yeah, we're almost done with this book.
It's kind of crazy, dude. Okay, so my girlfriend asked me how many more episodes do we have left of the book?
Okay, so
After this episode,
take out the Bible real quick. Oh, you already got the answer.
Oh no, please take out the Bible. Let's speak on our Lord and Savior J.R.R. Tolkien. Jesus and John share the same letter, so J.R.R. Tolkien is Jesus.
In the table of contents, it says we're on chapter 12. All right, I can't read Roman numerals.
Nick, we don't need to know that we're on chapter 12 from the book when the show is chapters 11 and 12 of The Hobbit.
Fuck you, man.
Jesus, man.
Okay, so next week, the week after,
13,
we got
14.
3 more episodes.
No, 13, 14, 15.
Okay.
Oh, no, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 3. I stand corrected. I am incorrect. Thank you once again.
Take out the Bible when shit goes down.
When shit goes down, we become Hobbit witnesses and go door to door preaching the words of Thorin Oakenshield.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. This is a nice cold evening. Each of us are experiencing snowstorms, and I think that's pretty close to how the dwarves are feeling.
Oh, honestly, yeah, I felt exactly how they were feeling at work. Our heater's not working. I told you this already. Like,
oh,
times.
Wait, no, but you didn't tell the audience.
Okay, so the owner of the company I work for, I don't like to call him my boss, but also the owner of the building is so cheap. He almost refuses to buy a new heater, even though the heater doesn't work at all, and it's 20 degrees outside and almost 40 in my office, and I'm freezing to death in my office trying to do this work. His solution to everything is space heaters. They're gonna put space heaters in all the like the rooms. I'm like, that's not gonna do anything.
That doesn't work.
And then the space heaters he brought in were about basically just 2 JBL speakers taped together. That's how big they were. So I'm ready to like burn it down.
Before we get into it, Mishu, just want to say thank you for the sub, you beautiful boy. Hope you're doing well.
Oh, Mishu!
Jesus Christ, they've subbed. Mishu has subbed for 52 consecutive months.
Jesus, that's a relationship.
My God, that is longer than Nick has told me that he loved me. You got nothing
that's
for that.
Lie. No, that's a lie. You never say that.
All right, before we dive into the chapters for tonight, Mishu, I hope you stick around for the whole time so you can actually hear a live taping. He's playing the Hunter Call of the Wild right now. We did that for 3 hours.
Not even 3 hours. I think it was 4 hours looking for deer. We could not find a single.
I got one. I got a buck.
You did, and then I had the opportunity, and then my game glitched out, and I missed.
Okay. Well, Mishu, we're gonna carry on with the show. I hope you enjoy if you're a Tolkien fan. So with that, we'll get into the movie part of our book and movie club. Nick, what movies have you watched this week, if any?
So a little twist this time. I didn't see a movie this week. I saw
Uh-oh.
a play.
You saw a
Um,
play?
yeah, my
Okay.
brother-in-law was in a rendition of uh, was it Little Shop of Horrors?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
A friend of ours, a lovely man by the name of Kieran, who is a wonderful artist. Uh, that is one of his favorite musicals. I think is his favorite musical.
I can see why. I really liked it. My brother-in-law was the understudy, and I'm not gonna lie, I was this close to pulling on Tanya Harding because I wanted to see him in the lead, but but it was fine seeing him play a bum and also a very excited first customer.
That
But
is
goddamn, the
I
lady playing Audrey to the plant had a crazy voice, like super soulful. I had goosebumps and I was smiling the entire time. I was like, I love her.
interesting because the plant is like, isn't it supposed to be high pitched, like really like like that?
Kinda, but like, so her voice was high. It was like she had like a higher register, but she still had that soul. Like it was like coming from her chest, dude. It was like,
Oh,
nah, not even her chest. It was coming from down deep, but it was going high. Like it hit some helium on the way up. She's like,
interesting.
feed me, and I was like, okay.
Feed me. Okay, yeah. All right. That's
But
a
I love
nice
it. It was
little
awesome.
twist.
Yeah.
I will say so to piggyback off of that before I go into my my movie for the week. My favorite play, well, musical. It's no secret. I love cats, but I hate cats. The animal cats. They hate me. It's mutual hate. But goddamn, that play. My sister also is a very big fan of it. She took her friends to go see it, and she told me that halfway through the play, they lean over to her during the intermission and just ask her, "So, what's this play about? Just cats?" And my sister leans over, and she's like, "It's cats." But they're like, "No, no, no, no." So, but like, what's the hidden message? Because, um, for those of you who aren't what is it, a patron of the arts, um, who have not gone to plays, usually they have hidden messages. Um,
Yeah.
I will say that I saw Hairspray for the first time. Took me a embarrassingly long time to realize that it was not about women and hairspray, but about racism. Um,
Oh.
I would say in the intermission, I asked like, once again my sister and my father, "So is this play like about racism?" And they're like, "Yes, Chris." And I go, "Oh, I thought it was about hairspray." So there's that. But fucking love cats.
The, I would say that, yeah, the message for Little Shop of Horrors is straight up just like don't sell your soul, like essentially,
It's a pretty solid message, I would say.
right? Just
Before we do go into the movie, I will say close 2 seconds are Phantom of the Opera and
mhm.
and Moulin Rouge. Moulin
Okay,
Rouge is very good.
okay. Mine are you know this what is it? It's Wicked's in my top five, but my top two are straight up In the Heights and West Side Story.
But have you seen these live?
No,
I don't know if we can count those.
yeah, I've seen a fair couple of shows live, but you know what? There's one Hunchback of Seville because I saw my sister Bridget is a theater like major, and so she did that while I'm in college, and I still have a picture of her as the Hunchback, and it's hilarious because when I told a coworker of mine a while back, I was like, "Oh yeah, I have an older sister," and he's like, "Oh, is she hot?" And I was like, "I think she's pretty, you know." So I was like,
Okay.
"Yeah." I showed him a picture of her in her Hunchback of Seville um makeup, and she had like a fake mustache, and she was
That's
like looking
funny.
raggedy. And he's like, she's got a mustache, dude. And I was like, yeah, but she's beautiful to me. You know, she's my sister.
If somebody does that for Maya, you got to pull up the video of her dancing with the Darth Maul makeup.
Yeah.
But for my movie this week, I will say it's actually pretty special to me. Kind of hit me in the heart a little bit. I finally, after Almost 8 years. Saw Green Book, and
Green. What's that one about again?
Green Book is the movie starring Viggo Mortensen. Haha, Viggo
Oh,
Mortensen,
Aragorn.
Aragorn, and Mahershala Ali, and
Oh, I love him.
he's a great actor, man.
He's a really
He's
good actor.
pretty new for me. Like he's been around for a while, but he's pretty new for me because he's been in some movies that I've seen recently, and it's basically Mahershala Ali plays Dr. Donald Shirley, and he's a renowned pianist in the United States at this time, and he's taking this is set in 1962. He's taking a tour of the deep south of the United States. So if you are familiar with United States history, during that time it was the civil rights era, and let's just say the South was not kind towards black people. So
Oh, it was.
no, it was not. But Viggo Mortensen plays like a it's weird to say, but casually racist Italian American, and the story is kind of he plays the driver and his sort of like bouncer and road manager that has to take him to and from the shows and kind of protect him. It's a very good story. It's a very good movie, and I can definitely see why it won like 3 Oscars that year.
Yeah, I've seen clips of that on TikTok, and I do want to see it eventually because it
It
looks good.
it is pretty great. I finally got to watch it after a really long time, and once again, it's like that when I saw Free State of Jones. It's kind of like turning a page in my movie book in my heart because I've just been wanting to watch it for so long. But
Yeah.
without further ado, it's time to get started with discussing The Hobbit. So this week we're doing, if you can see on the screen, chapters 11 and 12. Um, is there anything? Oh, there is one thing I did.
Yeah, you had a question.
I did have a question. It's not necessarily geared towards The Hobbit. And Mishu, feel free to answer on this because I see that you're talking about shooting the deer and saying how we struggled, but you've been just going at it.
Okay, well, fuck you.
So the question for tonight is if you had the chance to eat fictional food from media, what would you choose? And the curveball is you have to choose a good and a bad food.
Hmm. Hmm. I. s- This is a toughie.
Okay, Mishu says dragon meat.
Dragon meat. All right.
So I was
I would
going
say for
I was going more along lines of a dish, but it's a pretty interesting ingredient to try.
I would say for bad because I can't think of any bad ones. Blue milk from Star Wars.
I talk about the actual blue milk from the movie, from the universe, are the ones that they do in Disney World.
No, no, I'm talking like in universe blue milk.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And
um.
then
Okay.
for good, I gotta go with the Krabby Patty.
I feel like everybody does.
Yeah.
So
No, 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 what? No, no. That's an easy answer.
it is. It is. I was gonna call it a little bit of a cop out, but
Yeah.
it's pretty
The
famous.
nachos from Kim Possible. Look them up.
Really?
I'll look them up for you guys.
No, no. I know the nachos. Mishu says for bad, he would try the jelly beans from Harry Potter. Let me tell you something. As somebody who's actually tried the movie, like what is it called? The licensed ones, they suck. For me, bad. I'm gonna say, have you ever seen Fifth Element?
No.
Okay, so there's a scene in Fifth Element. It's a very good like weird sci-fi movie that didn't get a lot of attention, but it's very good. It has Bruce Willis in it. Um, there's a scene where Mila Jovovich plays not plays she puts an empty plate in the microwave, presses a button, and a whole turkey dinner pops out. Um, I'm gonna say bad. Just what?
There's a similar thing at Spy Kids.
Yes. With they put it in the microwave. It's like a little dehydrated puck, and it like comes up.
McDonald's meal, like
Yeah. So, I'm gonna say that is bad because I don't know if it's like actual food. For
true.
good,
That's a toughie because you watch fucking uh shit. What's that anime called?
delicious in dungeon.
Delicious in Dungeon. Yeah,
I
that everything looks good at that.
It looks delicious, but the problem is to me that that food seems almost too able to be made in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So just off the top of my head, I'm gonna go with um the fantasy food from Hook, not Hooked.
Oh yeah.
I I know
You get what?
it's in your head, but it just it looks like it could be delicious.
Speaking of bad foods, I got applesauce,
Okay.
right? And peep the creativity. I turned the lid into a spoon because I forgot to grab one.
Okay.
I grabbed the cinnamon one from Aldi, and it is very cinnamony.
Cinnamon is one of my not favorite spices because it's just so overpowering. Okay, we really got to get started. We've been
Yeah.
doing this for 17 minutes. So, chapter 11, Nick has decided to take the reins for tonight when discussing chapter 11. So, sir, if you please, I would just like to say one thing before you start. Chapter 11 was incredibly short.
Super short. 7 pages, right?
7 pages long, and I believe it might be the shortest chapter we have had.
Yeah, probably. And it was not very not very not a lot of substance, I would say.
Another filler.
But
There's been a lot of fillers recently.
yeah. But like the overall tone was, it's very is a the vibe was dark and gloomy and uncertain. The party was realizing that they're nearing the end of their journey and it's not looking like it's going to end well.
No.
So the townsmen wrote, oh yeah.
No, I was going to say no
Go.
because they're realizing they're going to have to. I said this in the most recent clip. They're going to have to kill a fucking
A
dragon.
bro. What?
Like, but with you said with the tone, man, the first paragraph nearly gave me a stroke.
No, it did. Me too. I had the craziest caffeine headache that day while I was reading the book. And I was sitting there trying to read it, and I was like, Tolkien, if I find you in the fucking afterlife, I'm gonna make you answer for this.
No, I was reading it during lunch, and I had limited time to read it. I had to go back like 4 times to reread the first
Honestly,
paragraph because holy Christ, dude, he is probably the closest writer to ever explicitly show us what ADHD looks like.
right. And like, I I had this thought where I was like, do you think you could tell? Because obviously he didn't write multiple chapters in one day. So could you tell like a change in mood in terms of like motivation to write these chapters in the
Maybe,
writing itself?
maybe he just didn't know. He couldn't really stop and start. Um, Stephen King has said, I keep saying but Stephen King has said that he makes himself sit down and write 6 pages a day, and that's how he cranks out books just like that. And there was an interview with him and George R.R. Martin saying like, how do you write shit so fast? He goes, I make myself do it. He goes, by the time you put out, 6 books in 4 months, I've written maybe a page and a half.
No, but that's probably a good way of doing it. Forcing yourself, because if you try to go off motivation alone, like in terms of like me with drawing,
Yeah,
I go off motivation alone. It's like once or twice a month.
yeah,
So
it's
you
bad.
really gotta like force yourself. So the townsmen row Bilbo and the dwarves up to the lake for day 3. Oh, for 3 days. So yeah,
Jesus.
Shut up.
We're gonna do a little behind the scenes here. This is
Yeah.
the smallest, not the smallest, the smaller summary of the chapters. And Nick told me that he wanted it so that he could get better at reading and going through it. And the first sentence, he just was like, "Fucks up."
Okay. Do over.
Locking in now.
So the townsmen row Bilbo and the dwarves up the lake for 3 days. That's a long journey, dude.
Yeah, it is.
They disembarked near the they disembarked near the lonely mountains, and the townsmen row away in fear. Um, so I would too. I don't blame the townsmen for dipping out on them here because they're going up to where the dragon is. Everybody at the lake town
And
knows
they know,
where the
yeah.
dragon. Yeah, and they're like halfway up there, and they're like, "Bye," and dip out. I'd do the same thing, honestly. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
get close to that
That's like
thing.
knowing you're a captain of a ship and like the map shows you're about to enter into the Bermuda Triangle.
Right. And I think that was kind of like a cool touch that he added there because he's like, the townsfolk they believe the legends of Smaug
Yeah.
they're more faithful to that than the legacy of Thorin's bloodline.
Well, because they live in fear every day of the looming dragon. So they're kind of have to,
Right.
like, okay, we're not going to piss him
Yeah.
off. He's real.
The travelers set out through desolation. All right, that's a weird way of putting that.
So that it is. And I just wanted to say, you're about to say Desolation of the Dragon. That's a straight up movie drop because I'm pretty sure
Oh yeah.
the last Hobbit movie is called The Desolation of Smaug. So just saying that one,
Yeah.
boys and
Oh,
ghouls.
when I read that the Desolation of the Dragon, I was like, that's a crazy metal album cover. Like title right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe not death metal, but
Desolation is
somewhere
pretty
along.
death metally.
Yeah. Um the traveler set out through Desolation of the Dragon. Such a weird alliteration. A waste
You good, buddy?
dude, this stomach bug really fucked up my brain.
Jesus
I'm really
Christ.
showing the barely literate and I'm barely literate.
He said it.
Okay, I'm gonna start from the top again.
Okay.
The traveler set out through Desolation of the Dragon, a wasteland toward the mountain. They gaze out on the ruined and abandoned town of Dale. Um, so the illustration for this one, when it showed the front gate,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I could get why. Like I hope that the dwarves are able to kill Smog, but like I can really understand like the gloom of who was it? Balin and Thorin,
Yeah.
because they revealed that Balin was with Thorin
When they
on the day
left.
that on the day they left, and Smog like came and ransacked Dale.
But can you just imagine their thought process as the only two dwarves who have seen the Lonely Mountain? They're coming home to their once beautiful green, pasture mountain home, with trees and bushes, only to see that basically how when Simba shows up to Pride Rock after Scar is taken over, it's just dry, barren, gray wasteland of like burned down trees and ash and nothingness. Like
Right.
the mind fuck on that, and also the kind of psychological warfare that unintentionally Smog has done on the two dwarves.
Yeah, and like again, like I really hope that the dwarves pull through and kill this motherfucker, but I'm not confident in their ability to do so far. I feel like it's definitely gonna be Bilbo pulling the weight here because the dwarves don't have that much of a they don't have many feats to speak of
They
in the
they
book.
really don't. I will say that the dwarves have not been holding their own this entire journey.
Nah, I don't think they deserve a cut at all. They camp near the mountain and unexpectedly find its secret door, but cannot open it. Over a period of days, the dwarves use all kinds of tools to try to open the doors, but have no success.
Once again, time is a complete construct for the party because they have been at the base of the mountain for actual days.
Yeah. And I kind of forget this too because I wrote this down and um and was like, well, it's been months because
Well, I did write that down actually. So the timeline, it states that the part when Elrond, they're at his house, which is a callback, if you aren't remembering, Elrond is the elf from the beginning of the story. He invites them to his last house in the woods type situation.
yeah.
That was at the beginning of June, right? At this chapter, they finally state that they're in the last week of autumn, which means, and I looked this up, according to our location, that, the Eastern United States, they are in the middle of December because
Jesus.
December 21st is the first week of winter. So that means they have been gone for 6 months.
And who was it? Bomber doesn't remember a damn thing.
Bomber got roofied by water and was just like, yo, we're still chilling at Bilbo's house. Dope.
He forgot all 6 months. Or not 6 months,
He
but
forgot maybe like 5.
yeah. Jesus Christ. I feel bad for him, honestly, because, well, not really, if you think about it too much. This is like,
I
they,
feel
they, they
bad for
fumbled a
him.
lot.
Nah, fuck him. I don't care.
Yeah, like think about it. They've had a lot of blunders and stuff. I'd want to forget about too.
Well, so the crazy thing, well, now that we're talking about, the journey and all of that, I did come across this superimposed map of the journey to something that we can kind of compare to. So I saw on IG that somebody had taken the total distance of Bilbo's journey and the total distance of Frodo's journey, both from the
Oh yeah.
Shire originating, and put it onto a map of the US and the States and stuff like that. So for ease of mind, Bilbo and Frodo, the Shire, are both in the top of Nebraska, the top right. Okay. So that is 2 states above Texas. He's going to pull up a map and look so he can reference this. So, Nick, top right of Nebraska.
Okay, top right.
Exact like middle of the country.
Like Sioux City.
About that. So Bilbo, his entire journey is from the top right of Nebraska to the right-hand side of Ohio, almost touching
Jesus.
Pennsylvania.
God damn.
Get ready for this one.
That's by foot.
That's by foot, guys.
Crazy.
Well, and half pony, but that's still, 1 horsepower.
That's wait, was that Frodo or Bilbo?
That was Bilbo. Frodo's is even worse. Frodo
Jesus.
continues along the same line as Bilbo up until I believe that is the left-hand border of Indiana.
Okay.
Makes his way down the Mississippi and travels all the way to the last corner of the top of Florida. The one that's touching the East Coast and Georgia.
Listen. It takes 20 hours to drive from Ohio to Texas.
Yeah, roughly.
So by foot, I can 100%
Why it took him
understand
6 months.
6 months
And
get all the.
But here's the thing, that's not a straight line, dude. That's them taking turns and shit like that. Like there's a picture of in the map where Frodo makes a right has to go down and around and go back up. That means it
Yeah, so I
probably
got
added like a few weeks.
yeah, I have the map of Middle Earth up now. So we're going from Hobbiton, right? They go all the way to where is so they go to Bree, I think is where the tavern is,
That's a great
and then they
cheese.
go through Bree. I don't think I've had it
That's good. It's creamy.
before. So they go from Bree to the Misty Mountains. Oh no, to
Forward.
Rivendell
Oh,
first.
you fucking ruined my whole thing.
Sorry. So they get to Rivendell, meet up with Elrond, and then they go through the Misty Mountains, get all sorts of fucked up there,
Oh yeah.
and then they end up more south, right?
Yeah.
I was tracking this when I was reading it earlier. They end up south, um, and they talk with what's his name, Bjorn. Where's the
Yes.
Karak? Because Karak was somewhere in the book, but I can't see it on this map. But then they had to go back up north to get to the gates of Mirkwood Forest. Go through Mirkwood, gets all sorts of fucked up there too. End up at a lake, go down the lake all to was it Esgaroth, and now they're up to Erebor, the Lonely Mountains. And Jesus Christ, that's a walk.
That is
All right,
definitely a trip.
that's what our parents would describe going to school.
Yeah.
But um all the dwarf spirits were low because they realized how close they were, but Bilbo somehow was confident and motivated, leading him to wanting to search for the secret door we heard about in chapter 3. So, chapter 3 is when Elrond looks at their map and finds the moon runes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he discovers that there's a secret door in the Lonely Mountains to get into Dale, but it can only open it at a certain time of year. Just like how in the moon rune, you can only see it at a certain time in the year, right?
That's such a
A certain
cuck that
moon
I
cycle.
really don't like though.
I don't like the moon runes too much. I think
It,
it's just
no,
it's
it's
so
not.
complicated.
The moon runes are extremely complicated. If it was just the moon or something like that, or like the moon stay without having to be like the same time of year, it'd be fine. But the fact that only the door can open up during that time of year is also cock a bullshit.
Yeah, I thought that was really weird, and then I was like, why did they forget about that? Because Elrond told them about it, and I swear Bilbo's looking at that map thinking about it, right?
Yeah,
But it's been 6 months and they've been through a lot, so I can understand how they could forget. But um, Thorin comments that autumn is almost at an end. Next day, Bilbo hears a thrush cracking a snail on a stone near the door, and is suddenly reminded of Elrond's story about the keyhole being revealed on Durin's Day. Do you remember what Durin's Day is?
I do remember what Durin's Day is, but I kind of want to take a moment to talk about just that part of the chapter of how fucking random and unneeded it was. So this is like kind of a clusterfuck of how this chapter went. The opening of the door mixed with the sun and what I assume was a bird eating a snail was so confusing to me. Like
It was.
all these different elements just came together randomly without a thorough explanation. And then at the very end, boom, they're inside. Like,
I didn't even realize the thrush was a bird until they acknowledged it.
honestly, I don't even know if it is a bird. I just said bird because that was what I was imagining.
No, yeah, it's a bird. They go through it in chapter 12, but like I really didn't like it. Like I was like, what the fuck is a thrush? I thought it was some kind of like foliage.
I have no idea.
And it was just like it just kind of zoomed in, like zoomed through, but at like a snail's pace, like a really slow speedster, right? And I was just like, what the fuck is going on right
it
now?
really the chapter was very short, but the way that it was written was just kind of wild.
Yeah. So Bilbo and the dwarves wait for a setting sun to reveal the hidden keyhole, and Thorin opens the door with the key Gandalf gave him with the map.
That was a
I completely
stressful
forgot.
time.
Yeah, I completely forgot about the key.
I did as well. Completely did.
They've not mentioned it at all throughout the entire book since he got the mapping key and mentioned it.
Because
Like,
wasn't, if I recall correctly, didn't Gandalf like whip out this key and be like, "Oh, by the way, your father gave this to me. I was gonna give it to you, but like maybe not." It was really douchey about it.
he was, and it's just like,
And then we were just like, "Dude, that's
yeah,
my
I was
fucking key. Give it." Like what?
like, oh yeah, I completely forgot. Like, this is yours, and
I'll still hold
I should
on
have
to it
gave
if
it
you
to you.
want.
But, like,
No,
yeah, if you
like
don't want it, like, it was just weird, dude. I miss Gandalf low key.
it's just fuckery, yeah.
But yeah, that's the end of chapter 11. If you're as confused as we are about going with just a summary, just imagine trying to get through those 7 pages.
it it was pretty crazy. And I am going to say that chapter 12 was a huge jump. 7 pages chapter 11, chapter 12 20 pages. No time to recuperate after
No.
that. So, uh is there any sort of mention that you want to talk about chapter 12 like overall before I kind of just jump into the summary?
Um, not really. I'm kind of done with this chapter already. Like, even my last tidbits are done. They're like, I don't even know. Like, this is like, I I was so uncertain about my current state, my state of mind while reading the chapter. I was like, I
Uh-huh.
don't know if it's just me, but this chapter was confusing. It's like descriptive in some parts, but very vague in others.
11 or 12?
11.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
All right. So,
really
chapter
fucking annoying.
12. I'm going to immediately have something to say after this first sentence, but Thorin prevails upon Bilbo to enter the mountain. Uh, whoa, here comes the parade with Thorin. So, Thorin basically, and I quoted this, not quoted this, but in my head, this is what Thorin sounded like. He was like, "Oh, the great and mighty Bilbo. Now it's time for you to earn your reward for being so awesome." And then Bilbo calls him out on his shit, just like Gandalf did. It was like, "You dwarf fuck. No. Like, I know you just want me to go in first. You don't have to make a big show of being an asshole about it."
It, the amount of glaze that Thorin just absolutely like mustered up just to get Bilbo to go through the door first. He's
He was brown nosing like an asshole.
and I don't. I really want to say it's because Thorin was scared shitless, and he was like, "Send first, please
Yeah,
send
yeah.
the Hobbit in first."
And I Tolkien kind of takes a moment to break the fourth wall here and says like dwarves aren't the best people, but they're not too bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, did they just do like an entire umbrella like blanket statement, racist, like like racial blanket
Yeah,
statement about
yeah.
dwarves?
It was
I
like
was like,
dwarves can be all dwarves can be dicks, but just remember
yeah,
they're not assholes. Thank you,
right. Like, if
Tolkien.
they like you, the fuck with you. I'm like, all right, okay. I
So
don't know what motivated this.
Bilbo slips on his ring and descends through the tunnel. He feels that the heat of Smaug the dragon. He feels the heat of Smaug the dragon and hears its snoring. And in a moment of great bravery, he determines to go on despite his fear. Now, I'm yeah, so there's something that I want to talk about of the actual cave itself. But what are you thinking about this?
In that part where he's going down the tunnel, I really liked how it kind of summarizes Bilbo's growth throughout the story.
So
overall.
give me like an example of what you mean by that.
Because it said he said like despite his fear he keeps trudging along. Bilbo before, like at the start of this,
Was a
if
pussy.
you felt that, yeah, he would have went into a fetal position like, I want to go home, I want to be in my little hovel, and I want to smoke my pipe, why did I come
So
here, you know.
I want to ask you this now, and it might be a little bit of a thinker. What do you think was the major turning point for Bilbo's mentality? Do you think?
I think once he got away from the goblins with the ring, just because combined with the ring giving him a little bit more
Balls.
I would say not balls. I would say the ring, gave him a little bit of power to develop some balls, and
So
then
he got
he
some
used the
BDE basically.
yeah, and that that combined with the dwarves glazing him afterwards really like boosted his confidence, and it's been in a steady like incline ever since. I know I put my hand up with it just to
um, yeah, I will definitely say. I think personally for me, the turning point was was escaping the dwarves with the ring on because you kind of see that he was really nervous with Gollum and he was, kind of treading very lightly, trying to escape. And when the dwarves saw his shadow and all that, cracking up a cold open one with the boys, I fucked that one up. But you see that his mentality sort of shifts when it directly almost when he got back to the dwarves after escaping because he slips into camp.
yeah.
Yeah. So I the thing that I want to talk about was there was a really brief description in the book, and I don't think it says it in the summary here, but I would love to see how a dwarven cave is, especially
Yeah,
compared to like how the goblins and the wood elves did their caves.
yeah, because they described it as like the walls and floors were flat, like they're
Smooth.
smooth,
Yeah.
and I'm like, was it like monolithic in a way?
I feel it's like if you've ever walked into a federal building and just that click of wooden soles on linoleum flooring, like very sterile almost.
I I don't have that exact kind of like example, but like I can
Like a
understand like
museum.
when you're wearing like nice boots and they got that nice click to them.
Yeah,
And
because
yeah,
they say that the walls, they're all supposed to be smooth and straight, but specifically with the Lonely Mountain, I can't remember the city of Dale. That's what it is. With the city of Dale, that this was supposed to be at the like summit, the height of the dwarves' wealth and ability. So just
right.
imagine they're already assholes now. But just imagine the ego and pompous nature of dwarves to build something fucking awesome and like art deco-y and shit.
Oh, dude, they probably had like really nice grinders to like smooth out the edges.
Oh
Just be like, oh, we got
yeah.
pretty. I know this is a secret tunnel, but
Secret
you know,
tunnel.
secret tunnel, secret tunnel.
It'd be good. I just thought of this. If they were able to kill Smaug, what if they were to use his dragon scales as like floor sanders?
Ooh, yeah, because they'll go into it later, but they describe his scales really like interestingly.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
like I like the way they go over his arm.
to continue the summary, Bilbo, feels the heat of Smaug the dragon and hears it snoring. Uh, and in, a moment of great bravery, he determines to go on despite his fear. He then comes upon the dragon just alone, asleep on a pile of unimaginable treasure, gold, gems, weapons, vessels. And what Bilbo does is he decides to seize a single cup and flees to the outside where the dwarves greet him after this like deep expedition.
Listen, man. Just based off the illustration in this chapter of Smaug laying on top of the gold, how the hell were they supposed to even fathom uh like the logistical nightmare it is to try to trans like what's the word? I was
Traverse?
like, not traverse, was it traverse? Yeah, like traverse all this treasure
Yeah.
out. So, like what we were talking about last week where what was the original plan? Was it to kill Smaug or just to steal the treasure?
I wholeheartedly believe that if it was me, I would think the plan was to kill Smaug because, like, what the fuck are you? You're 14 dwarves and a hobbit. How? What? He took a cup.
There's no way. There's no way you're um God damn, what's the
And Smaug says this in the book. He says this
he
later
does.
in the chapter. He's like, "What were you gonna do? I could have. I killed your ponies." He kills the ponies, by the way. I killed your ponies um, easily.
They didn't last long.
No, he goes, they didn't last long, and they're horses. How you have to carry gold and gems and shit? Where are you gonna go? He noticed a
Yeah.
cup. A cup was missing.
Oh my god.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but I do want to say that I find it really cool that Smaug was described as a classic red dragon.
Yeah.
And apparently, I just talked about this, dragons know exactly the amount of their treasure. So he was able to tell that a cup was
Yeah,
missing.
almost like a single cup. But then again, he's been laying on that treasure for maybe 100 years at this point.
Maybe.
So like, think about your mattress. You've been sleeping on your mattress for like how many years, and you notice like it's that one princess with the mattresses, and they
Oh, the
put a
pea.
bean underneath it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like something's wrong here.
I don't know because that's like a single pea and maybe, but just imagine that for you have the lifespan of a dragon for 100 years. You decide to sleep on a pile of Legos. Would you notice a single stud missing?
That's some crazy greed right there.
Right?
He's like
So,
he's like took my goblet.
and you talked you talked about the illustration. I gotta say that Smog laying the picture itself, the Smog laying on the treasure and Bilbo hiding behind it, probably my favorite illustration in the book.
Yeah, it's pretty baller. I'm not gonna lie. Like that could be. Let me pull up the picture real quick.
Oh yeah, and I'm just gonna say this quickly: the dwarves are really mentally fucking with Bilbo. They are milking him for all he is. Either they're praising him or blaming him constantly on things, and they don't
Oh
seem to settle on it.
no, dude! Like the I love the way that Bilbo just shuts it down immediately
Yeah,
too, because like after he picks up the goblet, takes it back, and like Smog is pissed. And the dwarves
pissed.
are like they're all happy initially when he brought the goblet back. He's like, "Oh my god, Bilbo, you're the best thing ever. You're the best thing ever." And then Smog is like, "Ah!" like flying around,
But
like
that's not what happens
looking for him.
originally.
No?
That's after Smog wakes up. They were cool about it, and then they were like, "You only brought back a cup."
Oh wait, yeah, really?
Yeah, they're like, "Oh my
I
god!"
missed that.
They're like, "You found it! You found it! You only brought back a fucking cup, bro!" Like, and he's like, "I didn't have to bring back anything." Like, that's a very
I,
dad move.
I love the way that Bilbo defends himself too. Every time, like anytime, like the dwarves show him a little bit of sass, he shoots it right back at him.
Okay,
But goddamn, Oh, keep going. Because I got shit to say, but I do not want to
Well, so
go over myself.
what you mentioned about Smaug, that takes me into the second part. So after that, Smaug awakens and discovers that a single cup has been taken, and completely outraged, he bursts forth from the mountain and perches on top of it, kind of like a parrot on a pirate's shoulder. And Bilbo and the dwarves see this and run back inside to the mountain. Bomber and Bofer are still outside. They were left behind with the ponies, and they must be hauled up by a rope from the valley below because they don't think that they can come up safely without being killed by a dragon. So Smaug has noticed that they are outside and hunts for the thieves outside on the mountain, and basically can't find them. So eventually he goes back to his lair to sleep. Now, there's something interesting about this that I didn't note down, but I just remembered. Dragons have a power that is a little weird. They can, and a little specific, they can choose to sleep with their eyes half open if they know somebody has fucked with their treasure.
Which is, it's a baller move, and it's very intimidating.
And it's very specific.
It's very specific. He's like sleeping, and he's like the cracks of his eyes, he can still see. So he's not really sleeping because he's still conscious because he's looking. But like, all right, yeah, this is a problem. We can't tear it apart.
But like, I'm gonna fucking tear it apart. Like, it's dumb. It's a dumb power. If you just said like he pretended to totally just ended the stream by accident.
Oh Jesus.
Okay. Well, I gotta restart that, but I'll put them together later on. Okay, note to self: don't hit the space bar.
Oh, is that what it did?
Fucking apparently so. That really sucks. So I'm gonna be all over the place now with the writing down. But anyway, Mishu, I'm just gonna say that we're back now. That's stupid because if your stream cuts, it'll give you like a grace period to where you could restart it. It didn't do that shit. So
wait.
I know that's really stupid. But why not just say that he's like not asleep? Why do you have to say he's half asleep?
Yeah, no, just say he's faking it.
I find it very odd. So
yeah.
The dwarves turn to Bilbo for leadership once again, and he decides to go back down to the dragon and see if he can find a weak spot. So Bilbo puts on the ring to become invisible, and does not take into account that there is a stench that comes with a living thing, and Smaug can smell him. So Smaug smells him, wakes up.
In his defense.
What's up?
In his defense, he didn't know that dragons were known for their sense of smell.
It's an animal, Nick.
So, I know, but still, you don't think lizards have good senses,
I would argue that I don't know if I could list. I don't think I could list 5 animals that are known for having shit smell.
Good point. I take that back.
Because like you always hear like, oh, a shark can't see in front of it. That's why you could punch it in the nose, but it can smell a drop of blood a mile in the ocean.
All right, good point. Good point.
Just saying.
You know what? No.
Common sense on Bilbo. You think you're a badass now? Watch some fucking PBS Kids, you dope.
Gotta go back to watch some Wild Kratts.
Oh hell no! Fuck that. Zaboomafu.
The predecessor.
Let's take this time. Rip Steve Irwin.
Oh, Steve.
Crocodile Hunter, baby.
Moment of silence.
Okay, so
Our moment of silence over.
They talk. So they strike up a conversation because Smaug is like, "I smell you." Like there's no reason to hide.
Oh, he's like, welcome back, thief.
Yeah,
Like, oh.
basically, he's like, "Oh." So, they start talking about treasure and the dwarves' intent to reclaim. Immediately, he was like, "We're coming back to take the treasure." I think that was the first thing he said was like, "We're dwarves coming back to take the treasure." Speaks also in riddles to the dragon because apparently there's supposed to be a specific way you're talking to dragons.
Dude, that was like quick thinking on his part because he started like going crazy. But the names he came up for himself,
Kind of dope.
I was like, let him cook.
Yeah,
Like,
kind of dope.
he's like, what was it? The barrel rider. The
That one could have been better.
I came I came from the end of a bag, but no bag went over me.
That was dope.
Bar.
That was yo, he fucks. So
no rubber.
All the while that they're having this conversation, Bilbo is actually analyzing Smaug for a weak spot, and he finds it near the left pectoral muscle of the dragon. So one thing to say is that when Smaug rolled over, his entire belly was kind of like encrusted with the gems and the jewels that like added to the armor, but for some reason his left tit was like bare.
Yeah. And it's like that's a weird naked spot to have. And then also Smaug would know about that he should know about that weak spot, right?
I don't know, man. When you're fucking slumming it out on the couch eating chips with your belly sticking out, do you feel the crumb of the chip on your titty?
That is a great analogy. No, I never feel it. I feel sometimes like
Yeah,
just like the
because you notice it fall, but like if you didn't,
yeah, huh?
Right?
That's a give yourself a. I'm bringing the scoreboard back.
Go! I got a point. Okay, let's go. So finally, Bilbo emerges from the mountain after discovering the weakened spot. Very tired from this experience, and he's just like, "Damn." He is great.
Don't forget that.
Go for it.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
Don't forget that like Smaug started like sowing the discontent between Bilbo and the dwarves. He started like
Picking at it.
picking at it. He's like, hey, you know that like dwarves are untrustworthy, right? You can't believe what a dwarf tells you.
You fucking talking to Tolkien? Like, did his racist shit get to you?
Yeah, they're greedy. You know, you can't trust them. They want their treasure back. They didn't have any plans to send you home with your share, right?
Ooh,
And then he's like,
yeah.
oh, he didn't have a plan.
No, he did not. Because either they weren't going to survive or he wasn't. Maybe he took a tumble.
Right. Yeah, and then like, he doesn't even meet the dwarves yet, and he's picking holes in their plan already. And he doesn't even know it.
Dragons, bro. Dragons.
Smaug is smart. Smaug is very smart and cunning.
He is.
I gotta give him that.
So he pops back out and just immediately is annoyed by the fucking bird. Bilbo and the dwarves discuss Smaug, and Bilbo is fearful that Smaug will then attack Lake Town, and he urges the dwarves to move back into the tunnel because it's safe there. So now that they're in there, they praise once again, flipping the fucking coin, Bilbo's bravery, and tells tales about, like the treasure, describing some of the legendary items that include, the Arkenstone of Thrain. It's basically a large white jewel. And then at this time, Smaug is pissed. He freaks out that Bilbo just
Right.
dips.
Well, the thing is, he was pissed at how Bilbo dipped out because he had the last word there.
Yeah.
He said, I don't remember what he said, but I do remember the quote that he said after that was never laugh at a live dragon, which is words to live by,
That's a
honestly.
hard dude. Bars
I'm putting
again.
that on a shirt.
Never laugh at a hard dragon. Wait.
No, yeah, because he said something cheeky, and Smog was like, "Oh, fuck this guy," and he's like, that's my fire breathing,
It's
you
like
know.
when you So yeah, he's pissed off, runs back up, and dude, his ass is on fire.
Dude, he gets the back of his head singed and the back of his heels singed because he got some hairy feet.
It's bad, and he barely makes it. And so just while he runs out, right? He's panicking with the dwarves and all this stuff like that. And he then sees over the mountain Smaug just flying about. And this part scared the shit out of me because
It scared me too, man.
it is absolutely terrifying to think that monstrous beast could slip away so silently that Bilbo, who, mind you, have huge ears, hobbits are known to have huge ears and great hearing, could not hear the dragon leave the mountain until he attacked them.
The I I've never felt this while reading a book. It was so weird how this fear came out of this book because I was sitting there stressed because I put myself in that situation and felt exactly like when I'm in VR and I'm playing a game and a great story I have. I was playing this game called Budget Cuts. At the end of the game, I'm fighting this big robot. I'm sneaking up, right? I'm sneaking through this hallway, and the robot's eye turns on, and he's like, "Oh, I found you." He turns around and runs out the room that he was in because he was looking behind a window, and I just heard his stomping, like as he was running at me, and I took my headset off, put it on the floor, and walked out of my room. I was like, "Nah, I'm done with this," and
Jeez.
I walked out. That's exactly how I felt when I was reading this. Like when Smaug got pissed at Bilbo and started like freaking out, and he was in the sky. I was like,
It
nah.
it's kind of crazy because to think about this, like you know when a plane is flying above you because it's very loud. Just picture a huge, like what I would say, 2 to 3 times the size of a big, commercial airliner jet, a giant winged
Would you say it's big?
lizard. I would say it's bigger than a jet. Um,
Huh?
a giant winged lizard flying through the air and not hearing anything. Maybe you hear like whoom, whoom, like the beating of the wings, but like that's a big thing, dude, not to hear.
Oh yeah, it's bigger than a plane.
Like
Oh
damn.
yeah, no. Why are lightsabers showing? Oh, those are rockets. You're right.
So lastly, just in time, for Smaug to attack, the dwarves get inside, shut the secret door, and prevent Smaug from entering that way. And the enraged dragon smashes the door. And the last thing they realize is that it is heading towards Lake Town, which is what Bilbo feared.
Yeah, I give Bilbo props because with all the bitching he was doing about Smaug, because he was stressed out after
I would be
he was
too.
disheveled after his talk with Smaug,
I would be too.
and he was telling them because they were camping out inside of the tunnel, and um, he's like, "Guys, we have to close that door. Please, can we close that door?" And they're like, "No, because there's no way other way out." They had it propped open with a rock,
Mm-hmm.
standard move. Um, but he's like, no, because like his fire could reach through that door and kill us. And then they were like, all right.
You're
And
you're
then he's
bitching. You're
like,
being a pussy. Like
yeah. And then he's like, no, we gotta close that fucking door. And they're like, all right, fine, we'll close the door. And they finally close it as Smog hit it with fire and started clawing at it. And to think about this too, the only way out is through Smaug's lair. That's the most stressful part.
Yeah.
You're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
And
scared for them.
I'm scared, but like we have 7 chapters left. We have a dragon to fight and apparently a 5-army battle.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Where does that come?
So that
But
brings us to the end of chapter 12.
yeah, I. This is such a good chapter too.
It was a very good chapter.
Oh,
It was a
like what are your last tidbits on it?
man, it's going to get intense.
Yeah.
It's going to get intense because they are now it's basically is they're in the home stretch, bottom of the 9th, bases are loaded, and there's no way to kind of turn back.
Yeah. I really like how Tolkien did this. He at the beginning of the chapter, he's like kind of summarizing. He's really showing Bilbo's growth throughout the entire story,
He is. He
only to
is.
completely overshadow it with Smaug's presence and his
Oh,
overall
that's a
character.
fucking fantastic way to say that.
Right. Like he just completely he's like, oh, you see, boom, quenches it because
Wow.
Smaug
Give
is
yourself
here.
a point for
And
that. Holy shit. Because
yeah, baby.
yeah,
So
yeah. He spends the entire book basically leveling up this character from like 1 to 15. All of a sudden, you introduce a level 75 in and just teabags him metaphorically.
oh yeah. And like I'm honestly really excited to see how they try to deal with him. But this is exactly like when you're like you just had an overpowered moment in D&D and then you're up against this like random beggar and you're like, "All right, roll the hit." You roll a 29. You're like, "Oh." So what I do and his like it misses.
Uh,
Excuse me?
you know that is Jesus Christ.
Huh?
Huh?
You're up against the god. What do you
It's
do?
like, did you ever run into the white frog in Baldur's Gate?
Oh, the slippery bastard that's hard to hit in the swamp.
It's not hard to hit. It's impossible to hit. Cause I
Actually, that's true.
I looked it up and it got mad at me, and all of a sudden combat comes in. So I try to hit it with a spell that never misses, mind you, magic missile.
Okay, yeah.
Missed 5 times, and the frog gets 1 attack. It kills 3 of my party. So I'm like,
I
restart.
I tried everything against that frog. I even did the create and destroy water because it was in the swamp, and I created a giant patch in the water where there was like dry land, like I was Moses, and I still couldn't hit that bitch.
I forgot there's a second part to that like thing. It's destroy water.
Yeah, yeah, dude, it didn't work.
Oh no. Well, damn. That you know what? That was a really great episode today. I think, we're heading it towards the end now. We can say our last tidbits and then close it out. Next week we are going to discuss chapters 13 and 14. We aim to have it on Monday. We did run into a snag yesterday. Nick was not feeling that well, but you know what? We got it done tonight. As a
Them
reminder,
stomach,
yeah, what'd you say?
them stomach bugs, man.
I will say that there was a chance that I also was not going to be ready for last night. I have been sick since last Wednesday, and I'm finally, yesterday and today, finally getting over it. But we're doing good. As a reminder to the audience, since we are coming up on the final stages of this book, we have chosen the next book for the new series.
Yeah.
It is called All the Lovely Bad Ones by Mary Downingham. It is a great young adult ghost story that I have read quite a long time ago, but I would say
spooky.
Yeah, it is spooky. Great read, very simple for those that want to go ahead and join us and read it. Mishu, since you are still here, I will say if you are interested, please,
And reading along with us.
yeah, read along with
Yeah.
us, dude. If you're into that, you'd be the first one to actually do it.
Yeah.
And
Your
yo,
first groupie.
yeah, you know what? Mishu is the groupie. Um, also remember to follow the it's on Amazon. I can send you the link if you want. Um, remember to follow the book club on Instagram at barely literate BMC because we also are a movie club. We tend to neglect
Yep.
that part.
No, we've been talking about the movies we watch. We
True.
we should definitely do an episode where we delve deeper into the movies we want to watch. Maybe a group walk. Oh,
We could do that.
should do movie parties again.
You know what? Yeah, quick thought. Why don't we take a break episode between The Hobbit and all the lovely bad ones to discuss movies?
I like that. Let's do it.
Fantastic. Um, so, without anything else from me, Nick, do you have any last words you want to say before we wrap it up?
Don't only follow, like, don't just follow our our book and movie club, but follow our Twitch accounts too.
Yeah.
You know, Jericho and Gooberino
Gooby booby.
on Instagram, and yeah,
Oh
like,
yeah, to
you know, I
re-listen
do
to all
post
this
stuff
shit, it's on my YouTube.
on YouTube.
We are thinking about doing something in the future. We're gonna discuss that as soon as we come off. Mishu says, I ain't buying just books for fun though, so unless it's a free read and I won't get new books.
Oh, okay, then do this. Go on. There's an app called Libby,
Oh
and
yes,
what
yes. Hear this.
and Libby, you can you sign up through. You don't sign up through your local library, but you kind of make like a digital library card through your local library, and you can rent. You can
Audiobooks.
check out books for free, audiobooks and digital copies.
Did not know about that one. Go for that.
Yeah, I don't usually do the digital copies. I do the audiobook, but you could do both of those and check it out and read it on your own time through there for free
Sure thing.
completely.
Actually, Nick, if you could send me that information, I'll pass it along to Mishu because he just asked for that.
I'll bet.
Um, but yeah, so once again, thank you everybody for listening. Live and future peoples. What did I call them in the story? I said, oh man, I did something really fun. Oh, bookworms and film buffs. That's what I called everybody.
Oh, you did. I love that.
Go look at the story. Oh, it's probably passed now since you stopped shitting yourself. But uh, we don't actually have that game, Mishu. We got the free version of the very first one. But hope you enjoy the hunt, and we will then catch you later. Thank you, everybody, and have a
All
great
right,
night.
thanks for stopping by.
Bye.
Bye.